WDRC Channel 2. This is breaking news.
And our breaking news is a car chase involving the Department of Public Safety. A state trooper you see behind a car right now. This on the northwest side of town.
Yeah, this started, we're not really sure exactly when this started, but for the last 15 minutes, this black, looks like a four-door sedan of some sort, has been weaving in and out of traffic. We're not really sure the situation that started this, but we do believe that there's possible robbery suspects inside that vehicle.
Yeah, we're told possibly more than one suspect. This all began in Waller County. Again, it's probably sometime around the last 30 minutes or so. We're trying to get an exact time on when this chase actually began. But you see our chopper now moving out a little bit to reposition, and there are other DPS troopers who are getting involved as well. But you see that one DPS SUV chasing that one car there, and they've been moving at pretty high levels of speed. We'll have to say, obviously, this is a dangerous situation. They're always going to be a dangerous situation, but we haven't seen this driver like we've seen other drivers necessarily weaving in and out of race, squeezing between cars there. Yeah, okay, well, it's getting dangerous
close,
now.
Yep.
Spoke too soon, almost collided with that vehicle, and now he's on a southbound on Antoine, we were told from the control booth. And so it wasn't wildly dangerous, and that probably was the very first really wild, dangerous move that we've seen so far. And unfortunately, now he looks like he might be cornered in some way.
Oh, yeah.
Getting help from a tow truck driver. No, that's not going to stop him. He's going to keep on going. But we're told this started a short time ago in Waller County, and again, we believe there are several robbery suspects. They got on 290. The chase got on 290 there from Waller County, moving southbound into the city, went into the Beltway, and now we see them, this part of town, was on Bingle, got off on that exit, and now again had gotten off on Antoine. And Steve, say that again.
Right now he's traveling eastbound on Libby right now. And again, we're focusing on this black, what appears to be a Lexus, traveling at a high rate of speed. We just saw a few dangerous interactions with some vehicles. Once it actually exited 290, that was weaving in and out of highway traffic. Now you're approaching more, looks like residential areas where you're coming face to face with intersections. And we're getting a live look from Sky 2 as law enforcement tries to slow down and eventually stop this vehicle. We are told that there's possibly at least one robbery suspect. This may have started with a robbery that led to a chase. We don't know the situation or circumstance surrounding that. But again, focusing your eye on that black Lexus right there that is driving very fast and dangerously at this hour.
Yeah, it's about 3 o'clock, just 2 minutes before 3 o'clock. And of course, you know, school kids are going to start getting out. There's going to be school buses. There will be parents picking up kids as well. And so obviously this is not a chase, obviously is never good, but this is really not a good time because this is when you're going to see more people on the roads, more children on the roads as well. And a lot of times we see that these drivers just don't have any regard for those who are around them because it's obviously a very, very dangerous situation when you're driving at these high rates of speed. And you see him there pulling through an intersection now. It looks like he's heading northbound now on TC Jester.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, clearly just going very fast through these intersections. And as we've seen a few times in the past 5 minutes or so since coming on, he has had zero regard when he approached these intersections, bumping into a few vehicles and even backing into what appeared to be sort of a trailer off of a truck there. But that is not deterring him from trying to evade police at this point.
Yeah, when we saw that that wrecker, we couldn't tell if the wrecker was trying to assist the DPS in some way or if he just was kind of stunned and shocked at what was going on and had just hit the brakes. But that driver got out of that situation, and we see now moving here on TC Jester. And when he was on 290, the driver, I say he, assuming it's a male, when the driver was on 290, he was only being trailed by one DPS trooper that we could see. And now, as we've seen from our Sky 2, as he moves eastbound on 43rd, there are now several DPS troopers who are behind him as well, at least from what we've been able to see. When we first were watching a few minutes ago, we only saw the one vehicle.
And it is now 3 o'clock, so as Keith mentioned just a short while ago, this is the time of day where kids are leaving schools, or they're moving to their next practice or athletic practice, and certainly not a time where you would want any sort of chase like this to be happening, especially when they're not on the highway. You're in a more residential area. We're around around homes where school buses may be stopping. We haven't seen that sort of interaction yet. We hope we don't. But again, situations like this are extremely dangerous, especially when they're not paying any attention to the speed limit, to stop signs, to intersections, to lights, just completely driving in there, just trying to evade the police at this point. But again, we believe this started with some sort of a robbery situation. We don't know if there's one, two, if there's more suspects, but
they are in a school zone right now, and you can see it looks like there was a crossing guard who's that you could see in the yellow.
See, that's my fear right there.
And driving right through that, did slow down a little bit. If you want to give him any kind of credit, just crossed Ella Boulevard. That intersection they were at is Ella Boulevard that they just crossed, and you never know what's going through the minds of the driver or whoever might be in this vehicle. But oftentimes when they go from a highway, a major highway, and they get onto some of these more residential roads, oftentimes it's when they're trying to get back to a location that they're familiar with, and sometimes we see them just pull up into a house, into a driveway, and just jump out and throw their hands in the air. Don't know what the situation is now or why this driver decided to come onto this part of town after getting off the freeway, but they are in this residential area now, and it's an obviously dangerous situation.
Yeah, we believe, we're not really exactly sure what time this started, but it's been going on for at least 20, 25, 30 minutes at this point.
Driving on the other side of the line, there you saw.
Yeah, again, paying no attention to any laws of the road, and that's so often, Keith, something that we see in chases like this, because they're just trying to get away. They're not focused on anybody but themselves, which is why it's such a dangerous and selfish move, quite honestly, when you're out on the road and not putting anybody else's well-being at the forefront, and it could be a scary situation as it is right now.
Yeah, this is southbound
Shepherd.
Southbound Shepherd. Okay, you just turn there, and because of that traffic, he was able to get a few cars ahead of the DPS troopers. We have our helicopter in the air, Sky 2, and you can rest assured that DPS and maybe other agencies like HPD, they have helicopters in the air as well. So he's not going to get away. No matter what kind of traffic he drives into, he's not going to be able to get away. They're going to still be able to track him, but of course, he's turning eastbound now on Garden Oaks. Eastbound on Garden Oaks is where you see him turning right now. And so right now, at this point, your DPS is the main agency that is involved in this chase, but you can bet HPD, perhaps Harris County Sheriff's Office, maybe even one of the constables is involved as well, and you're wondering if they're trying to think ahead. They are trying to figure out exactly where this guy may go. They may be trying to think about a way to deploy some stop sticks if possible, but when he's weaving in and out of traffic and turning in a lot of different directions, it's just kind of hard to tell which way he's going to go.
In addition to DPS, we do know that HPD is now assisting with this chase as well. And one thing we know to be true about Houston traffic, especially now that we're in the after-school hours, is that it's only going to get more congested pretty much in any direction this driver goes. Again, we don't know who's behind the wheel. We don't know how many people are in that what appears to be a black Lexus, a sedan. But we do know that it's been engaging this dangerous chase for at least 25 minutes now. And I'm not really sure what street that is that he's driving down, but getting a live look from Sky 2 as HPD and DPS try to get this driver to a place where they can pull him over.
Yeah, look, see, okay, just drove into someone's yard and almost in the driveway, but kind of did a
little bit in the grass.
A little bit of a turn in the grass, and that they're continuing to drive. And he's a little slower now. He's turning southbound on Yale. Southbound on Yale right now, and has taken down his or her speed just a little bit. But this might be the neighborhood where they might be familiar with and could be trying to get back to, because he's not driving as fast as they were.
Yeah, definitely slowed down once they got off the highway, but still not having much regard for any of the rules of the road, and still just trying to get away from police at this point, as we see in these chases. And we know with these chases that especially when we have eyes from the sky, we're now turned on eastbound on 36, when there's eyes from the sky and also on the road behind them, they never get away, Keith. They always end up stopping or crashing, or something happens. And so that's what makes these chases so dangerous.
Yeah, they rarely get away. There have been some instances, not many, but because of the eyes in the sky with the helicopters and then just with the pursuit on the ground, it's very, very hard for them to get away. It looks like there's some damage on the passenger side to that front fender there. Don't know if that occurred when he kind of sideswiped a few of those vehicles, or maybe it was there earlier. But if you're just now tuning in, this began a short time ago. This is Northwest Houston area, but this actually began in Waller County. And we were told there is at least one robbery suspect, possibly multiple suspects who were in this vehicle. And it started in Waller County, and now they're turning into a driveway, it looks like, or at least in between two houses. Officers are out. They have weapons drawn, it's DPS, and just want to let you all know this is a 10-second delay that you all are seeing. So in the event of any type of shooting or anything of that nature, we would be aware of that and be able to, make sure we didn't let you all see that. But it looks like this might be ending peacefully. Can't see anyone out of the car just yet. Some of those trees are in the way.
You can see the officers with their weapons drawn, at least 3 different law enforcement vehicles now behind that car that is parked in, I don't know whose home that is or what residential area that is, but waiting to see who comes out, if anyone comes out of that car willfully. But you can see law enforcement with their weapons drawn, hoping that this all ends peacefully.
Yeah, that's DPS and HPD at least. And you see through the trees a little bit. Looks like there is a person. No, that's an officer at the driver's side, at the steering wheel. The door is open. No. That's actually an individual. Yes.
Yeah, with the hands up and now handcuffed behind his arms and being escorted back to a police vehicle.
And they still have their weapons drawn. Looks like they're going to go. And there's another suspect, coming out of the passenger side. Hands up.
Like so 3 total in that vehicle. And that was there initially. We had heard reports that there was at least one person, one possible robber, if not more.
And that actually looks like a female. That first person was a male. This looks like a female. So now there's a third person in the back seat with his hands out of the door, and you can be sure that the police are giving him commands, and he's following them very carefully and slowly. He has his hands up in the air, wearing that white T-shirt there. He's walking toward them backwards, and they have their guns trained on him, and he now is about to be in handcuffs. Doesn't look like they have any of the officers have their guns trained on the vehicle anymore, which may lead us to believe that there aren't any more suspects. But what we typically see is they're probably going to approach that vehicle very carefully and open the trunk to make sure there's no one in the back there. You can see one of the suspects being taken past a HPD vehicle and walked to what looks like a DPS vehicle, past the DPS vehicle. So a chase that began in Waller County and made its way into Northwest Houston, not only on the highway, but also on some residential roads. A couple of fender benders there, finally now ending.
Yes, so it looks like there's going to be three suspects in custody. Again, we believe this began with some sort of a robbery situation. We don't have that confirmed just yet, but we will bring you the very latest updates when we return for Channel 2 News at 4 o'clock coming up in a little bit. And we'll also have all the details on our website at click2houston.com.